rock and roll, top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll, all at one station. 91.1 FM, The Boss. It's time to change. If you like country, we play it. If you like pop, we play it. If you like Latin music, we play it. If you like rock and roll, we play it. Because no one does fusion music like we do. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
I'm Bruce Tuff, principal of the Tuff Law Firm. We are a full-service law firm serving the greater Woodlands area and the greater Houston area. Contact us at 281-681-0808. We're tough for you.
Welcome to The Legal Fix, a new age radio show brought to you by the Tuff Law Firm. We're the toughest law firm in town, with the toughest lawyers around answering your toughest legal questions.
Hey, welcome to The Legal Fix. I'm your host today, Boy Wonder. We are missing our fearless leader, the man, the myth, the legend, Bruce Tuff. Here we have G.I. Jerome, the super lawyer, and today our special guest host, the LCAT, Lauren Bredehoft. Hey
Welcome.
Guys, welcome to the show, Lauren. How's it feel to be hot on the mic?
Wow, just so many emotions.
I couldn't tell from that, but we'll accept that answer. So, today we have an interesting topic. We're going to be talking about real property. The market is hot. Everyone's buying and selling. We've got a lot of discussion to have on that. But first, important news. Britney Spears has got a new attorney, and unfortunately, it was not the Tuff Law Firm.
What happened?
How does that make you feel? I don't like that, but I am excited for her. It appears that Matthew Rosengart was approved to represent Britney Spears in the fight to end her conservatorship.
Back in the day.
Did you realize that she's been under this conservatorship for 13 years?
Wow. I did not.
That's insane to think about. And she's been performing at a high level that whole time. It's amazing. But back to Lauren. Lauren, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I live in the Woodlands, and I attend Blinn College, and I'm 19 years old.
Awesome. Very awesome.
And what do you do at the Tuff Law Firm?
I file. I keep all the files in order.
Okay. And what are you studying at Blinn?
Right now, I'm studying business administration, but I will be studying nursing whenever I transfer to U of H.
Okay. Do you have any other interests? Anything you'd like to tell us about yourself?
Yeah, I like fashion, and I like to read.
Okay.
Are those channel glasses you have on?
Channel? Yeah, they're Chanel. They're
Chanel.
Channel.
Excuse me.
What's your favorite animal?
A jaguar. Super
cat.
powerful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So,
we'll get to more of that later, because you're going to be on the hot seat.
The hot seat. So, other important news. With COVID Delta variant popping up, we've had a lot of questions from employers. Can I mandate vaccines on my employees? And the short answer is, it depends. But a couple of things to consider as an employer. You have to give, under federal labor laws, reasonable accommodations. So those would look like the opportunity to work remotely, depending on the type of job they have. You also have to give consideration to disability and religious beliefs. And otherwise, as long as you give reasonable accommodations, you can impose potential requirements for vaccinations. A perfect example would be a hospital. Obviously, we want our hospital staffs to be healthy and safe, and one of the best ways we can do that is to ensure that they're excuse me. Ensure that they're vaccinated.
Don't bring
Bruce
that
is
back.
going to get me. Nishi. Oh, boy. So, in other news, what is going on this week that's so important? No one knows. The Olympics in Tokyo.
We should have known by your headband.
The 2020
USA.
Olympics are playing out in 2021.
Strange.
Lauren, do you watch the Olympics?
I watched the gymnastics.
Watch the
Gymnasticking.
gymnastics. Absolutely. Very good. So, a lot going on in the Olympics. I saw that there's a new country called the ROCK in the USA.
The Rock.
The ROC. Russian Olympic Committee.
I thought it was
Jeremy.
the International Olympic Committee.
Well, I thought so too, so I Googled it real quick to see who they were. It's the Russian Olympic Committee. So apparently they have been banned from this Olympics for years and years of doping in Russia, state-sponsored doping. Someone was telling me that at one point they were actually removing the walls to pull samples and trade them out with clean samples for the blood test. The Russians do it dirty, I guess, is the best way to put it.
The old fake wall trick. But they found a workaround. I think the moral of this story is even if you get popped with sanctions for doping, you can just rename yourself and still participate in the Olympics. So, good job, Russians.
More interesting news. We've got some new teams popping up. It appears that the Cleveland baseball team has changed its name. Lauren, do you know what name they went with?
No, I do not.
Guardians of the Galaxies.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
So
That's
I've
great.
heard that a member of the Guardian of the Galaxies is a minority shareholder, and they reached out to him for comment on the name change, and he said, "I am Groot." No one got that joke. That's okay. I was trying to be too funny. All right. So, Jerome, do you have anything you want to add on this week's review?
Yeah, I just want to give you another chance to make a plea to Britney Spears, just in case she wants to change counsel, to hire Boy Wonder of the Tough Law Firm, because I know you've been itching to represent her.
Free Britney. That's all I have to say about that. I think that probably the judge heard our radio podcast and decided it's time to appoint her a new attorney so she can get out from underneath this guardianship. What do you think?
Yeah, that was a good move on
Free
the attorney's
Britney.
part. I think it got so much publicity, thanks in part to us, that the judge had no other choice but to let her choose her own attorney. And the big financial firm that was involved in managing her estate opted out under media pressure from managing her estate, and I think that compelled the judge as well to let her pick her own attorney.
Absolutely. Well, we had an awesome week. Just thinking from last Friday's episode, from that moment that we walked out of the studio until now, we have landed a petition for review in the Supreme Court. 2 appeals are due. We had an injunction hearing that got flipped around to yesterday morning, and we managed to finesse that one. What else have we done this week?
Yeah, 2 massive cases signed up and settled in the week since our last show. And then 2 more signed up this morning.
Wow. And you literally ran out the door from a client meeting to get here, didn't you?
Sprinted, tied my tie in the hallway mirror, out the door to the legal fix.
Nice. Very good. Well, it has been an interesting week to say the least. If I'm not mistaken, we're about to go to a commercial break. But before we do that, Lauren, I know you had something you wanted to add.
Oh, yeah, about the Olympics, about Simone Biles.
Yeah, well, tell us about that. What do you got going there?
Well, I knew that she withdrew because gymnastic people, they get this thing where they have the twisties in the air, and that's what made her land weird. And I guess it was just a toll on her.
Twisties.
It sounds like
the
hazing.
twisties.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's pretty intense. But she withdrew from the Olympics to focus on her mental health.
Good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. So, if you have a tough legal question, we're going to be fielding your calls. Today, we're primarily focused on real property issues. Lauren, we gave you the pitch, so let's hear it. What number do they call?
How can people get a hold of us?
They call 936-900-2381.
936-900-2381. Please give us a call. We'll talk about real property disputes and issues.
Hit us with your tough legal questions. And when we come back, we're going to put Lauren on the hot seat.
The hot
Dun,
seat.
dun, dun, dun.
I'm Bruce Tuff, principal of the Tuff Law Firm. We are a full-service law firm serving the greater Woodlands area and the greater Houston area. Contact us at 281-681-0808. We're tough for you.
Hey there, Texas. Jensen Ackles here. There's a lot of scary stuff out there. But you know what's really scary? Distracted drivers. With their heads down, they're texting, they're swerving, blowing through stop signs and red lights. Not cool, yo. And not safe. And one other thing, it's not legal either. That's right. There's a new statewide Texas law that says you can't read, write, or send a text while driving. So heads up, Texas. Keep your eyes on the road. Talk, text, crash. Brought to you by
Disaster
Texas.
tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh,
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
we're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
Go to youtube.com on your smartphone, tablet, or PC. Subscribe us on YouTube at Radio The Boss 91.1 FM.
Yo, 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 welcome to the Legal Fix, broadcasting live on 91.1 The Boss, KNLY. I've got my special guest host beside me, Lauren Breedehoff, the LCAT, and super lawyer, G.I. Jerome.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Before we put Lauren on the hot seat, I want to put you on an abbreviated hot seat
Okay.
because you got crushed yesterday morning at the Judges Talk CLE hosted by the Montgomery County Bar Association at Honor Cafe. What
Yeah,
happened when you
so-
walked in? Fashionably late, I must say.
So my mom told me I'm never on time to anything. I think probably I was born late, and I'm hoping I'll die late. But I walked into this meeting, it's a 7:30 meeting. I mean, who has a 7:30 meeting? So
Judges.
yeah, of course, busy people. Okay, I walk in, it's 7:45. I'm thinking, okay, I can sneak in the back. It'll be no big deal. I'll just sit down. It'll be just fine. It's
don't think so.
7:45. Judge Santini looks up in the middle of his speaking, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Riley." I'm thinking, oh my gosh. But it worked out okay. He did not sanction or hold me in contempt of
Not
court.
yet.
So it'll be
50 attorneys and a handful of judges all turned around and looked to the back where Boy Wonder was rubbing sleep out of his eyes, stumbling into the
It's
meeting.
got to be pretty traumatic.
No, it was actually horrifying, to say the least.
He embraced it, though. He loved it, truth be told.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. When the judge knows you by name, you feel almost like maybe you haven't done anything terribly wrong yet in his courtroom, right? Why is there sad music playing? I don't want sad music.
It's
This
the
is
ominous music that's about to welcome the LCAT to the hot seat.
Very good. The hot seat. Carlos, we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock.
2 minutes on the clock.
Ready? Steady? Is it my go first, Jeremy?
Okay, Lauren, you know how the hot seat works. You've seen it before.
Yes.
Short answers. You get one pass.
One
the goal
pass.
is to answer as many questions as you can in a 2-minute time
I
frame.
think Bruce
Okay.
still holds the record at 20.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. All right, how do you spell Breedehoft?
BREDEHOFT.
Would you trade cars with Bruce?
Yes.
Who's your favorite character on the Legal Fix?
Pass.
How much do you weigh?
Ooh, 136.
How tall are you?
5'11" on a good day.
Excluding Bruce, do you look down on everyone else in the office?
No.
Is
No.
Blinn considered an Ivy League junior college?
No, I don't. No.
What's your favorite protein?
Chickpea.
Would you be willing to give meat a college station try?
No.
How about just a junior college try?
No.
How often do you check your Instagram at work?
Ooh.
already
Only one
answered
time and
pass.
only at lunch break.
Stranded on a desert island, what's the one meat you'd take?
Repeat the question?
Stranded on a desert island, what is the one meat that you would take?
Oh, salmon.
Favorite fashion accessory?
Sunglasses.
Coco, Channel, or Michael Kors?
Coco Chanel.
Favorite fashion designer?
Chanel.
If a fashion disaster asks, does this outfit look good? What's your answer?
No.
When you start your fashion boutique, what's it going to be called?
Lauren Grace Design. I don't know.
The spacesuit. Who wore it better, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk?
Elon Musk.
Would you rather get an assignment from Ivan or the janitor?
Ivan.
What's a better pet, rubber chicken or a dead cat?
Rubber chicken. Neither.
On any given week, how many cats do you cat sit for?
2.
Name one sound a cat makes besides meow. Meow. Row.
You're out of time.
Darn
Wait,
it.
we've got 2 more good questions for you. Are
Okay.
you the world's youngest crazy old cat lady?
Yes, actually, I am. In the world record book.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who at Tough Law spends the least time in the mirror?
We've got a caller, guys.
Lindsay. I don't know.
All right,
Least
Carlos,
time in
it
the
sounds
mirror,
like
what
we
does
have
that
a caller. Hello, welcome to the Legal Fix.
Welcome. Hello, caller.
Yo, yo, yo.
Oh, hi. This is Kelly.
Hey, Kelly, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
We're wonderful. Okay, so you've called in. What's your legal question?
So we just bought a house in the Woodlands, and
Congratulations.
unfortunately,
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
finding that it's covered in mold.
Ooh.
Okay, so first question. Did you get an inspection performed before you purchased the house?
We did have an inspection done, but the report didn't say anything about mold, so I'm really just unsure of what our next step should be.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a major problem. Mold can cause a lot of health side effects, so you definitely want to deal with this immediately. The first step would be to find out what type of mold it is and remove yourself from the surroundings, because the spores can cause a lot of serious harm.
What's the bad type?
The worst type, I don't even know the name of it specifically.
Is it
There are a couple
black?
types, but it's black mold is the overarching name of them all.
Okay.
And it's very hazardous to your health. So, Kelly, the first thing you need to do is remove yourself and your family from the house so that you don't get any further adverse health side effects. The next thing you need to do is come on by the Tough Law Firm for a consultation. In these types of cases, the first thing that you're going to have to do is figure out who caused the issue. Was it known by the seller? Did the inspector miss it but should have seen it? These are the type of issues that you have to figure out up front before you file a lawsuit. And this type of lawsuit would typically be a fraudulent inducement, or fraud in a real estate transaction, whereby they concealed the mold, which often happens, where the mold gets concealed so that you'll purchase it not knowing. And obviously you have a absolute legal right to sue on a fraudulent transaction like this. The problem is it's really hard to get money back out of these types of transactions. So the first and best thing you can do is get in front of an attorney as quickly as possible. Obviously you can call us at the Tough Law Firm to schedule an appointment at 281-681-0808.
And besides her inspection report from the purchase, is there anything else she needs to bring with her? To
Absolutely. You need to bring all your closing documents, the transaction documents. This will include the seller's disclosures. Usually it's a TREC contract that you've signed. It'll include some information in it, whether or not it was purchased as is, some other issues that come up in bringing forth the lawsuit against the seller, or potentially against the real estate agent, or even against the inspector for missing the mold.
And we've got inspectors, too, that we can send over to check out this house. Some mold
absolutely.
scientists.
Absolutely. We have a couple of different experts that we've used for mold cases. They do an amazing job. They're very intelligent, very quirky, but they know how to find
They
mold.
take the swab, and then they look at it under the microscope.
Absolutely. Well, they take air samples, they take cotton samples and swab it. So there's a lot that goes into this. These are very complicated cases because you have to prove the intent of the individual and the knowledge, which is not easy to do because you have to get inside their head with all the circumstantial evidence. But it's absolutely possible, and we've handled several of these successfully.
But I'm sorry to hear you're having a problem with mold. How did you find out about the mold?
We were having some plumbing repaired, so our plumber found it.
Okay.
Absolutely. No, that's a very common theme that we have seen where there is a leak in the plumbing because the plumbing job was done shoddy, or if there's a leak in the roof and other issues. So absolutely come on by the Tough Law Firm. We would be more than happy to sit down with you and go over all your legal options. And again, just call us 281-681-0808 and we'll schedule a consultation for you.
We'll find out who's responsible and make sure that it gets fixed.
Absolutely. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your call. So,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Deuces. So, to go on through that, we've talked a little bit about mold and how to sue on a real estate transaction, but there are a couple other things that people probably would like to know about if they're a first-time home buyer or if they are new to a community and they have an HOA. Jeremy, I'm pretty sure you serve on an HOA, do you not?
I do. I was elected to my local HOA.
Nice. What is that like? What is that circumstance for you?
It's sometimes it's a thankless job. We handle a lot of complaints from residents, anything from landscaping to the pool to disputed notices of violation. What a lot of people don't understand about how the HOA works is we hire a management company to run the day-to-day operations for the HOA. So the board members are 5 volunteers like myself. It's an unpaid position. Obviously, we have regular jobs. There's a few members that are retired, but it's not our primary job, so we don't handle the day-to-day operations. We meet much like a board of directors does for a company and make the high-level executive decisions.
So do you guys review plans to change your home or if you want to extend your driveway, those type of things?
In fully developed HOAs, like you see a lot of times in the Woodlands, like Kelly is probably in, you'll have an architectural design review committee that reviews those plans.
Absolutely.
I live in a pretty new neighborhood, so we don't have that type of committee, but we do have provisions in our covenants for forming that type of committee. And there was some new legislation that was passed down recently. We touched on it in State Bar College Summer School.
Absolutely.
That affects HOAs and how they're governed. So we have a full briefing on that from our HOA attorney that we're reading and that we'll discuss at the next board meeting.
Very good. So at this point, your HOA doesn't review design plans because it's not a completed subdivision. Is that correct?
We review applications for changes, like things like building a shed or like our neighbor did, extending their driveway so they can have a basketball court for their kids, but we don't have a subcommittee that's in charge of that. So right now you make an application to the HOA and then you have a hearing at our board meeting and we decide whether you can do what you're asking to do.
What happens if you don't ask for approval from your HOA or your architectural control or design committee?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have a neighbor who asked me about that when I was pitching him on my candidacy for the board. He said, I did something, but I didn't ask permission, and I got a letter from the HOA. You don't think so? So I told him, write us a letter asking for us to approve what you did in retrospect, asking for an exception to our usual procedure, and if it's something that we would have approved anyway, we're going to tell you that it's okay and that you're not in violation.
Absolutely. It's critical to go to the governing authority, whether it's your HOA, a POA, Property Owner Association, or even a architectural control committee in more developed communities to get approval. The last thing you want to do is to begin building your house, get the slab poured, and then be slapped with a temporary injunction saying, "Niche, don't think so. You're not building your home today."
But we're all residents of the same community, so we want what's best for our neighbors. So we're not in it to give people a hard time like that commercial that you see where the Karens are cutting down mailboxes and hanging plants and stuff like that. We're not like that. We're your neighbors. We want what's best for you. You just have to go through the process to get it approved.
Absolutely. And then to piggyback off of that, we were talking about the sales market and the Texas housing market.
It's
and
hot.
How it's
It's
exploded.
hot.
Last I saw, I think it's up over 20% from last year on the market values.
It's a bubble.
And, you know, a lot of people are buying, and they're buying it so quickly that I've been told by several real estate agents that they're actually putting offers in $5,000-$10,000 above the listing price just to secure it.
Same-day transactions, above list, cash offers, multiple bids, backup contracts.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I thought is worth discussing, since this market is so hot, is just what the process looks like. Jeremy, you've purchased a home, so you understand this a little bit, correct? And
I have.
I assume you use the standard TREC contract?
Well, the first time I purchased a home, I was a newly licensed attorney. So since I thought that I was smarter than the TREC contract,
super lawyer, G.I.
the super
Jerome.
lawyer, I wrote my own contract. I looked at TREC. I took all my contractual knowledge that I was fresh out of law school with, and I custom wrote my own contract. And let me tell you, it was a good one. But we didn't use it. Because the real estate broker, the title company, everybody else involved in the transaction wants the protection of the standard TREC contract. So I used it, and second time around, I didn't argue with anybody. I just filled in the blanks in the TREC contract and made it easy on everyone.
Now, and I'd like to highlight this. We just heard this from our caller, Ms. Kelly. Inspections are important. Inspections play a major role in liability and the shifting of liability when it comes to what has been disclosed or not disclosed. And we see a lot of transactional disputes that end up in litigation because someone forgot to disclose that their house flooded or that they had a pipe leak that led to damage in the home and made an insurance claim on it. And so the best thing you can do is make sure that you sit down and give an accounting of every single issue that's come up in your house and disclose it all. Because the more you disclose, the less likely you are to get sued for failing to disclose information in your seller's disclosures.
Absolutely.
It's critical. And if you don't know, ask your real estate agent. And if they don't know, call an attorney. Call the Tough Law Firm. We'd be more than happy to go over it with you. And we have done so for several clients this year. It's an interesting thing to see after the winter storm, all the disputes that have come up, whether it be from a landlord having an issue with his tenant not closing off the water pipes and damaging a rental home, or a option contract falling through in the middle of the winter storm because of the damage caused. So there are a lot of moving pieces in these and a lot of money at stake in your life because you want to live there and your family's going to be raised there. So very important. Make sure that you have everything that you need, and if you don't know, get an expert to talk to you on it and confirm that you're doing everything you're supposed to do to be on the up and up. Lauren, do you have something to add to that? You look very excited, like you were ready to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say last year, whenever my family was trying to buy a house, it was impossible, but now we have people literally driving by our house asking if they can get, they can buy it, like cash offers.
And it's not listed, I assume, is it?
No, we took it off the market like 6 months ago.
Wow. That's very interesting. Very good stuff.
It's a seller's market right now.
It absolutely is. And like you said, it's most likely a bubble. And at the very least, it's going to plateau at some point very soon.
I think we need to go to commercial and then come right back.
Yeah, well, we'll be right back.
I'm Bruce Tuff, principal of the Tuff Law Firm. We are a full-service law firm serving the greater Woodlands area and the greater Houston area. Contact us at 281-681-0808. We're tough for you.
Hey, welcome back to The Legal Fix. I have my awesome co-host, super lawyer G.I. Jerome, and our special guest, the LCAT, Lauren Bredehoft. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been awesome and a pleasure having you on the show. Jeremy, we went over on our last segment because no one threw anything at me to remind me that we had to go to a commercial break. So we're down to just a little bit of time left. Did you have anything you wanted to add in the conclusion?
Just to tell Bruce Tuff, we miss you. We do enjoy having Lauren here, but we miss you.
Absolutely.
We'll be glad to have you back next week. Where is Bruce? Does anyone know where he is?
Wyoming?
Yeah, he's in the mountains.
Jackson's Hole.
Yeah, he's doing one of those sabbaticals where he finds himself on the top of the mountain.
He's going to come back a new man.
Absolutely. He freshed. Absolutely. Well, obviously, if you have any legal questions, you can call us at The Legal Fix, or you can call us at the Tough Law Firm. We'd than happy to help you in any of your legal issues. I think that we have covered a lot of ground today. What was your biggest takeaway from today, Lauren?
Probably you should get in if you do find mold in your house after, like the caller Kelly.
Absolutely.
Like
It's critical to act quickly.
Go through it.
Yeah, it is a common thing to have happen, especially in an area like this where you do have flooding dangers and hurricane dangers and other issues like plumbing going wrong. So it's critical to know your rights or find them out as quickly as possible when you have a major issue come up. So I think that we have covered all our time, and we are out of time. Lauren, give us the takeaway pitch.
If you have any questions, call us at 936-900-2381.
Fridays at noon. That's
Fridays
the
at
Legal
noon.
Fix.
The Legal Fix.
And 24/7, the Tough Law Firm, 281-681-0808.
Thank y'all so much.
See you next week.
Deuces.
Go Team USA.
USA.
USA. USA.